Anna K. Long, and I'm the writer and director of Death in the Desert.
Nice. I met this lovely young lady a couple days ago, so I was super excited to get to see it. Tell us, how do we get from in here to up there?
This is a really, really good question because this is the first narrative short I've ever written.
Ooh.
So I didn't even envision this as a very straightforward, conventional narrative film. I was inspired by a friend of mine when I was bored in dance class. They were in town and were just super excited to. I had just moved to California, and we were excited to play around with film and cinema and see what we wanted to do. So I storyboarded just them, this one person as Death, moving through, and it was kind of more of like a silent era style, sort of, or soundless. Oh my gosh. And then I was trying to figure out how to put the pieces together, and then put it together in my first ever conventional script format, and that really, pretty much from that draft to the screen, we didn't change much.
Wow.
People really connected with it, so I thought, okay, let's take a risk and try my hand at conventional narrative drama, or as conventional as it gets for me.
As I was saying earlier, one of my favorite things is that opening image, because I'm here, that's gonna draw me in. And when we went from this super desolate spot to these 6-inch hills, I was like, I don't even care what happens next. I'm here for all of it. What was it like for you? Because this is your first time directing, correct?
My first time directing anything narrative. Yeah.
All right, tell me, what was that experience like?
Costuming Noelle or directing?
No, directing the whole.
Directing the whole. It was fantastic. I have a background in dance and teaching, and a passion for film. So it was very exciting, and art as well, like studio art. So it was really exciting to kind of see how to bring all of these things together. And I think I've done a couple more films, and this one was really unique because I think all of us were really passionate about being outside and just kind of trying everybody was kind of doing something a little outside of their comfort zone. So Nayomi, who plays the hiker, this was her first on-screen role ever. She's also a dancer, so it was her first time acting. It was some of the producers' first time producing, and we all kind of came together and kind of trusting the unknowns instead of being intimidated by it, and I think it unified the whole process.
For anybody, current, future filmmakers in this room who are thinking about making that first project, what advice would you give?
I'm going to give you the advice that one of my colleagues that we met doing dance theater together told me, which is go before you're ready. There's never the right time. There's never you're never going to be fully prepared in a really comfortable way. And if you feel uncomfortable, if you're feeling like you're taking a risk, it's always going to be worth it.
Nice. What advice would you give yourself now after having done this?
I think the biggest lesson I learned after finishing this one was trust myself. Trust yourself. There's nobody who's ever made a film who really knows 100% what you're doing. And every new experience, if you're pushing yourself as an artist, leads to new questions and new challenges and new risks. So I think there were a lot of moments where I had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of shots that I wish I had pushed for. And I think a lot of instincts that I understood were correct in trusting. Yeah. And since then I've been trusting my instincts more and being myself more, and that's been pretty rewarding so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am going to put you on the spot a little.
Okay.
This idea of you're never going to be ready, which I think is very, I don't know that there's anyone who hasn't had that moment at some point in their life. Whether you're a filmmaker or not, you're pregnant, you are moving, you are, anything that's happening, insert here, there is that moment of, if I jump in, am I going to make it? What are some things that you feel like you put underneath of you that helped in that process?
Oh my gosh, lots of phone calls to my friends, lots of phone calls to my mom, my sisters. I think you bring up an amazing point, which is sometimes even when you're doing something that's your own, that's your task, you are Frodo sending that one ring into the fire. Like you're always best equipped to do the hard thing when you have that support system around you. So I've been very lucky. Some of those support system people are here today. So thank you, everybody who just believes in what you do. It sounds so simple, but it really is for me so far. Or if anybody else has a better answer to this question, let me know. I'm still always trying new things and taking risks.
Where does this go next?
This goes to Burbank next. We got into the Burbank Film Festival in September.
Nice, congratulations.
Thanks, I'm excited. And then other than that, I've got some other projects. I think once death is done, death will rest. she's always working. So, but my next short is in post, and I'm very excited to share that because it's a body horror, so it's completely different. And it was made with generous support from the Fujifilm Aspiring Filmmakers Award, which grants Fujifilm equipment to do some cool experimental stuff. I'm scary stuff.
Peeping my eyes out to somebody in the audience that I think you might want to chat with. You should also probably know that you won the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Writing as a Drama.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, there might be a future for you in this whole thing.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh.
I think so. I will open this up to questions. Oh, I got one.
What was your favorite part about shooting the film? Oh, what was the scariest part?
Oh, good question.
I can say the scariest part. Do you remember the scene where the two characters are about to have a conversation, sitting down? Mm-hmm. When Noelle got up there with her heels, which, for the record, Noelle asked for all of those costume pieces herself. It was so exciting, which was actually maybe the best part of all of this was just the deep, intense collaboration with my actors. It was all of my actors made this, and most of the crew made this felt a personal connection, whether it's kind of more abstract and feeling some sort of catharsis from just the idea of passing and death, or a personal connection to the California desert. As I love hiking, I was happy to be there, and Noelle really brought a lot of her own personal experiences with death around her as she experienced it in her life, and she decided to. I don't know why, but I remember. My favorite part was the phone call I got from her, and she was like, she's very intense. She goes, Anna, I have a question for you. And I'm like, okay, what do you want, Noelle? And she's like, what do you think about stripper heels? And I was like, tell me more. So she was, what's our budget? And I was like, well, we'll find space in the budget for a bustier, whatever you want. And the character just kind of, all of the characters got built. All of these places of love, and that was my favorite part. But back to the scary part. So we were up actually quite high, and she's actually climbing up and getting to the edge with her heels, and my DP is going a little bit this way, a little bit that way, and I just sat back and was like, nobody can actually die on this film set. The irony of ironies. No. I was like, be careful, everybody. But we were. It was it was a scary moment, but also a moment of levity. I mean, really, for filmmakers, the other scariest moment is that moment where, for the sunset, where you're running out of light, really. And
I heard a whole lot of
yeah.
Mother Nature herself.
Yeah, Mother Nature is the scariest.
And she wins every time. We're right here, and we'll go that way, right there. Yes, I see baseball cap.
It's not so much a question, but just a detail that I loved from the very beginning, before we knew what the film was about, the sound of the flies buzzing. And of course, then we realized what that the sound was representing.
Yeah.
Nice touch. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you to my editor and my sound designer. It was all them.
I see a hand right behind you.
How did the girl die?
Oh.
How do you think she died? You don't have to answer.
I also would like to point out that she did look at her sister to be like,
I will say part of the inspiration for all of this was I was visiting my friend whose husband worked for Joshua Tree National Park as a park manager or ranger, and she took me off the trail, which I don't ever do unless I know I'm totally safe with somebody. But it was the middle of quarantine. We just said, let's go. And so we went off trail a safe distance, and we didn't think we'd run into anybody, and we ran into probably at least 10 people who were off-roading in a pretty, not a risky place, but I think if you don't know, definitely, guys, everybody stay on the trails when you're hiking. That's the message of this movie. But yeah, part of my inspiration was there was this couple, and they got so lost that they climbed all the way up this rock, stood there for 10 minutes while I was sitting and having my snack with my friend, came all the way down, and we were like, oh, I wonder what their plan is. I wonder how they're gonna figure this out. And they couldn't figure it out, and they came to us, and we escorted them out. And I think that experience probably stuck with me. What would have happened if we hadn't been there? I'm sure they would have been fine, but but yeah, it's there's as much danger and beauty. There's so many ways she could have died, but
Danger and Beauty might be your next movie, by the way.
Okay.
Death in the Desert.